Good day, ma'am. My name is Yujelene Muntua from Section ECO. So the topic that I've chosen is the selection of core and delta. So what is delta? The delta is the point from which to start in ridge counting or in front of and nearest the center of the divergence of the type lines. So there are 6 delta formation, which is the bifurcation, dot, meeting of two ridges, looping ridge, ending ridge, and starting ridge. In the selection of delta, there are 5 rules. Rule number 1. The delta may not be located at the bifurcation which does not open towards the core. Rule number 2. When there is a choice between a bifurcation and another type of delta, the bifurcation is selected. Rule number 3. If there are a series of bifurcation opening towards the core, equally close to the point of divergence of the type lines, the delta nearest to the core shall be selected. Rule number 4. When there are 2 or more possible deltas which conform to the definition, the one nearest the core is chosen. Lastly is the rule number 5. The delta may not be located in the middle of a ridge running between the type lines toward the core, but at the near end only. Next is the core. So what is core? Core is located on the shoulder of the innermost loop farthest from the delta. It is the second of the 2 focal points. The core, as the name implies, is the approximate center of the finger impression. So, when the core is referred as the center of the heart of a pattern, it does not mean that it is the exact central point of the fingerprint impression, because there are numerous rich details outside of the type lines which are not considered in pattern interpretation. So, there are 4 rules in the selection of core. Rule number 1. The core is placed upon or within the innermost sufficient recurve. Rule number 2. When the innermost sufficient recurve contains no ending ridge or root rising as high as the shoulders of the loop, the core is placed on the shoulder of the loop farther from the delta. Rule number 3. When the innermost sufficient recurve contains an uneven number of rods rising as high as the shoulders, the core is placed upon the end of the center rod whether it touches the looping ridge or not. Lastly is the rule number 4. When the innermost sufficient recurve contains an even number of rods rising as high as the shoulders, the core is placed upon the end the farther one of the 2 center rods, the 2 center rods being treated as though they were connected by a recurving ridge. So the difference between core and delta is core is defined by a turning point of an innermost ridge, while delta is a place where 2 ridges running side by side diverge. So the importance of delta and core is the deltas help to determine the fingerprint pattern and core is for conducting ridge counts. So that's all, ma'am, and thank you for listening.